Hello. In the last video, I spoke about storytelling and how a crucial part of storytelling is understanding your audience and knowing what matters most to them. That way, you can tailor your story in a way that meets their most relevant need. So, if you are talking to an executive team, you will speak in terms of the cost to the business, opportunities, risks, competition, etc. While if you're speaking to a more technically oriented team, then you can dive a little bit more into the strategies and the techniques or methods you've used to analyze the data. So it's not necessarily about your personal motivation or the things that interested you the most about the data or analyzing it, for example, but rather about what matters to your audience and what will move them to make a decision based on your presentation. Part of this is in learning how to form a narrative, and this is what the book further teaches. And there are several ways to, form a narrative, but I like to focus today on the story mountain. When you watch movies, for example, Hollywood, Bollywood, wherever you come from, you notice that there's usually a storyline. There's a typical way most movies go. There's the protagonist, there's the antagonist, there's the climax, there's the tension, etc. So sometimes you can go to a movie and kind of have an expectation how the story could end. Of course, some of the most intriguing and thrilling movies are ones where there's like a plot twist that you never expected or an anticlimax, etc. The point I'm trying to illustrate here is that there's a method to the madness, if you permit me to say it that way. There are ways you can form a narrative to land it well with your audience. The first one, the story mountain, comprises three main elements: the plot, the twist, and the ending. The plot is the context of the situation. What is happening right now? The twist is some sort of tension. What is a new development or where the data is heading towards, or what you can infer from what is happening. And then the ending is some sort of resolution, what you can do, how to optimize it for your business, etc. So as an example, you run an online store. What is happening right now is that you're probably having 50% or let's say 70% of market share. You are having best-selling products, etc. And then some tension is that there's new competition who has a new strategy of attracting customers. And so your business has started to bleed customers. That's the tension, that's the problem to solve. And then the resolution is, okay, we're going to run a discount. We're going to adopt similar strategies as the competition because we already have market share. We can leverage on that to, reduce our prices a little bit and get more customers to remain loyal to us, etc. So whatever the situation is, you need to present that story in a way that the audience can follow through logically or at least sequentially. Remember from the previous video, I've spoken about showing your audience what to see. So the fact that you have 70% market share may not be as important as the fact that you're bleeding business. Or it might not be as important as the fact that there's competition who is using a certain strategy. So you want to make sure that you're pointing your audience in the direction that you want them to look, and you're speaking in terms they can easily understand. So today, as a summary, I've spoken about presenting to your audience in a language they can understand and using a narrative structure. So the story mountain that consists of the plot, the twist, and the ending. Tomorrow, I'll speak a little bit more about storyboarding and also the third type of narrative technique, the narrative arc. Thank you for watching.